Yes, so welcome to the learning partners. So I'm back with one of the most awaited project template, that is e-commerce, right? So in this video, we are going to create a whole e-commerce application with the real API. So just this is a simple template where we are showing the products. You can see in any e-commerce application, what we have, we just show the product. On the product, we have a button to add to cart, and we have a way to, let's say, what number of quantities. And when we click add to cart, that particular item gets added to the particular cart. And here at the top, we show the added items. And once we decided all the items to be purchased, then we make the sale, right? So these are the things we do in an e-commerce application. So these same things, just the basic flow, we will show the cart. And after that, showing the cart, we will add the process of add to cart. Then once all the items has been added to the cart, then we will complete the sale. So all three steps we are going to cover. And this is just a whole cycle of an e-commerce application. So let's get started from creating project. So I have opened the particular folder, that is e-commerce. Here I'm opening the terminal and we have to create a new project. So ng new project name. So e-commerce. Press enter. Once we press enter, it will ask us like, do you need a routing file or not? So we have to say yes, because we are going to need the routing file. So you just have to type yes, press enter. Then which CSS framework you are going to need, like SAS, LESS. So we are simply going with the CSS only. Press enter. Right. So if you can see, the basic project is created. Now what it is doing, it is installing the packages from reading the package.json. Whatever the package default packages we get when we create the project, it is installing from Node package manager, and it will put that into a node module folder, which will be created in some time over here. Right. So in package.json, you can see we have got the package name and the version. Right. So you can see different packages. My latest Angular version in my project, in my laptop is 15.2.0. So that is, you can see this here. Then after package.json, we have angular.json. So angular.json is a file which we can say is a architectural file of our Angular project. What are the things or the settings we need to do along the project wise? That settings we can do it over here. So some of the things which we use normally, like style and the script. So let's say if we are using any external libraries, let's say if we are using Bootstrap, if you are using jQuery, if you are using PrimeNG, so that CSS and JS need to be registered over here. We are going to install the Bootstrap. Just for now, I'm just explaining like what is the purpose of this file. Then outside again, we have one more file, that is tsconfig.json. So tsconfig.json is in Angular, we work with the TypeScript. So this is a configuration file for the TypeScript compilation, right? So these are the outside the folder. These are the three important files we have: package.json, angular.json, and tsconfig.json. So as you can see here in terminal, node module has been successful. All packages has been successfully installed. And if you see in node module, we have got the packages. So now let me just open the folder again, because currently in e-commerce folder, again, we have the e-commerce. So let me just do the things. So now we have to run the project. So to run the project, it is already in the, what we can say, parent folder. So to run the project, we have to use the command ng serve. Okay, so press enter and it will first compile and run the project into localhost 4200. That is the by default port we have. So let it compile. Before that, we are going to need the Bootstrap also. So for that, let's go to npm Bootstrap. So if we go to Bootstrap, let's see what is the latest version we have. So latest version is 5.2.3. So this is the command npm I Bootstrap. I stands for install. So let me just copy this. So you can see it is compiled properly. Let me open the another terminal and press this command and enter. So what it will does, it will install the Bootstrap and add an entry over here also. Let's see. See, The same entry has been added to the package.json. Now we have installed the Bootstrap in our Angular application, but we need to add a link also, reference of that also. So in angular.json, we need to add the reference. Right? As I told you earlier, in angular.json, we need to add the reference. So here we need to add the reference from node modules underscore modules. We just need to add a reference of that particular CSS. So here it is. Let me just copy paste the folder name, rename, copy. It will go over here. After that, Bootstrap will be here. So let's see Bootstrap. Yes. So Bootstrap, after that slash, then inside Bootstrap, we will have dist folder. So that is dist slash, inside dist, we will have CSS. So CSS again slash, and inside CSS, we need to use bootstrap.min.css. So let's copy this. And we have to put it over here and comma. Same thing, we need the JS also. So for that, in script section, instead of CSS, we need the JS. So we have JS folder over here. And inside that JS, we have bootstrap.min.js. So let me copy paste and put it over here. So after installing Bootstrap, these are the links we need to add in the angular.json. One more thing, whenever you do any changes inside the angular.json file, so it is mandatory to rerun the application. So we can stop. This is already in compilation mode. So we can stop this by using Control-C button. Okay, so again, let's try to run. Let's see if this folder path is correct or not. So again, if it is not, we have to just start from the node module only. So let's save and check if it compiles properly or not. If this folder path is not correct, it will throw the error. So let's see that. Right. So let's open localhost 4200. And we have got, let's try to, by default, we have the app component. So inside that app component, we get this basic structure. I'm removing it. Let's add a row column. Let's add I over here. Let's try, we are trying to see like Bootstrap class is getting applied or not. So inside body app root. Yeah, so you can see if I clicked over here, you can see row class is getting added over here. So that means Bootstrap is installed and CSS are also getting applied. Right. Let me just remove this. Now the basic folder structure is created. Now we just need to create some folder structure to just place all the files in a particular location. So I'm creating folder inside app folder. Pages. Inside pages, we are going to create the components which will be connected with the routes. So if we say e-commerce applications, what are the components we are going to need? So let's create those. Right click on the pages component, open in new terminal. So we get the terminal open into that particular folder. So first component we are going to need is ng generate component home. Home will be like the default page. Okay. So on press enter. So what it will does, it will create 4 files and it will update 1 file. So you can see it has created 4 files and it has updated 1 file, that is appmodule.ts. So whenever we create the component, that component class name should be registered to the declaration part of our app module. So you can see it is automatically added. Now, second component, ng generate component. So in home component means landing page, we are going to show what we can say all the products, right? Some of the products, categories and everything. Then we are going to need cart page. So ng generate component and cart. Either you can use whole generate like this, component like this, or you can use the short form also like above. Anything will work. So let's press enter. So now if you pay attention here, cart will be added automatically once the component get created. See, cart is added automatically, right? So again, one more component, that is sale. So 3 components we are going to need just now, right? So home component, card component, and product sale component. So 3 components we have created. After that, we need to create the routing. So in app routing model.ts, we have to create the routes. So route is nothing but an object of array. So path, which will be URL. So let's say products, and component for this, it will be home. So products is my URL name. And if in the browser we have this URL, this component will be loaded. After that, comma, second object, again path, colon, this is cart page, comma, and on this component, what we have to open, that is cart component. Third page, again path, this is routing. Okay. So the last page was sale page, component, sale component. So as you can see, we have created 3 components. We had the 3 component and we have created route of these 3 components. First is product, second is cart, and third is sale. So we have got 3 components. Let's save all. Now we need the navbar, right? So as you can see in any e-commerce application, we get the navbar like this, where we can see all categories, dress, and everything, right? So same thing we are going to create in the app component.html. We will keep our navbar over here. So for that, I have already created a navbar using Bootstrap. So let me just get it. HTML template, shopwise. Let me show you this. So you can see I have, using Bootstrap, I have just created this navbar. So I'm going to use this. So let me just inspect this. Let's open it with Notepad. So this is header. Let me just copy. Now let's copy this and put it in the app component. Then I need some classes also that I have created in style section. So let me just copy those and put it in the CSS file of app component. So means here. So now let's save and check if we get the proper navbar or not. Okay, it is saying something not correct. So 2 times we have the closing tag. So let's search. Yeah, here only. Let's save and check now. Yeah. Okay. So you can see same navbar we have got. Now we have the navbar, right? So after the navbar, below that, we need a div which will be responsible to show the particular component. So for that, container, just copy paste it from here only. Section container. Okay, this is the thing. We will put it here. We need the closing tag. And inside that, we are going to have router outlet. So router outlet is a thing which is responsible to load the component. So let's say, let me just format it. Okay, so now we will just add to cart item. Okay, one more thing here, you can see we have got this icon. So now this icon is coming from Font Awesome. So let me just inspect and show you. So far cart icon. So this is coming from the Font Awesome. So let's go to Font Awesome, W3. I will directly use the link, CDN link, because again, we have to install the package and add it in the node module. So for now, just to save our time, I'm going to use the CDN and put it inside the index.html. So this is my index.html. I'm putting it link over here. So if I save now, we should be able to see that icon. No, not able to see. Let's see. Okay, FS is there. So means that is, let's see the what we need, this is simple cart icon, right? So font awesome. Let's see the class for the cart item. Font awesome 4 we need because I have installed font awesome 4.7. Latest version is the 5. So let's go to 4.7. Let's see cart. Yes, so this is the cart item. Let's see the class. Copy. Let's try to inspect it over here and see if we get the output. Yes, so now you can see we have got the output, right? So let's just copy this and put it into the navbar. At the end, here we have to add it. Let's save and check. Yeah, so we have got the cart icon. After that, we had the search icon also. So for that, search. Yes, so this is the search. Let's see the class name. Let's copy and paste it over here. Let's save and check. As you can see, we have got it. Okay, it is something else. Let me, yeah, this should be perfect. Fast search only. Plus, we don't need. Yeah, so this is how it is looking now. So same HTML template I have used, and into Angular we can see. Now we need, by default, we should load our home component, that is product component. So for that, let's create an empty route. And here path will be star and component will be product home component only. So let's see and check now. Path match, I think need. This is the default route. Okay. Cool. Let's save and check if we get the default component. No, still not. Let's see what is the error. We don't have any error. Yes, so it was double star. So to create a default route, we have to add the double star instead of the path and the home component. So as you can see, homework is printed over here. Now, let me show you the APIs. Let me just close all the tabs. So first part is done. We have created the navbar, and by default, home component is getting loaded, right? So now we need to get the products from the API and show that inside the home component. So for that, this is an API URL I have. Inside that, e-commerce is there, and you can see this is the API. So let's try it out, execute. So this is the API. Yeah, so this is the API, and here I have the multiple products. You can see this is an product array. So now we need to create an service, and in that service we will be consuming this API. So let's create a service. So in app folder, I'm going to create one more folder, that is services. And here I will create the service. So right click on the service, open in integrated terminal. Now command to generate services, ng generate service product. Product is my service name. Enter. So this will create a two file. One is the testing file and one is the actual service file. Right? So now we need to integrate the API, right? So whenever we have to call the API inside Angular application, so first thing we need is HTTP client module need to be added into the app module. So let's write the import first, Angular /common/HTTP. So here it will have HTTP client module. And this will be added to the import section. We are going to need forms module also. So let's just add that also. Forms module. This is necessary for ng model. Whenever we are going to use the ng model, so to use ng model, this import is very necessary. Otherwise, we cannot use the ng model, right? So what we have did, HTTP client module added and fonts module we have added. Now in product service. So in product service, what we need to do? First, we need to create the instance of HTTP client. This is a service coming from HTTP client library. Let's create a function, get all products. This is my function name. Now this function is going to return data type of observable. So let's give it a return type. Observable, any, square bracket, enter. Now here we are going to return. So this dot HTTP dot get. Our API call is get only. So for get API call, we just need one parameter, that is URL. So this is my URL. Let's see and put it over here. Now we have set the return type also here also. So after get, we just need to provide the data type, that is any of square bracket. So you can see now we have got the error. So this function is responsible to call the particular API, and whatever the response we get, it is going to return because we have added the returns keyword. Now in home component, we have to call this function, but to use this function, first we need to create the instance of product service. So let me just close everything. Just need product service, and then in home component, we are going to call the API. So now here we need to create a constructor first. Okay. So inside constructor, whatever we are doing this now inside constructor product, let's just create. This is called dependency injection. The objects we create inside the constructor of any component or any service, whatever the object, we can create object of services only inside the constructor. So this, what we are doing is called a dependency injection, right? So we have created instance of product service into home component. Now we need to create another function, load all products, opening, closing curly bracket. So here we have to make the API call. So this dot product service dot, in product service, we only have one function, that is get all product, opening, closing curly bracket. Sorry, we need to write dot subscribe, round bracket, again round bracket, result colon data type any, then arrow operator equal to. Okay, so this is the normal API call subscribe thing. So we are subscribe means we are fetching the data, whatever this function is returning. Now we need a variable. So product list colon any, it is going to hold the array. So I'm initializing it with empty array. Whatever the response we get, we have to store that inside this product list. So this dot product list equal to. Now, if you see the API call response, so API call is returning object, and inside that object we have a property data, and inside that data we have got the array. So we need to match result dot data. This is the thing we have to do. Now function call is done, but we need to call this function, right? So let's implement ng on init. ng on init is an lifecycle hook. So ng on init, right? So first we have to implement, then we can write ng on init. Now here we need to call this function. So whenever we are calling the API call function, now whenever we are making API call functions or triggering API, all those things we should do in the ng on init. Constructor is used only for the initialization, and ng on init is used to trigger the API call. This same thing will work even if we call it in the constructor, because constructor get called whenever the first thing constructor get called, right? Then ng on init, that is the lifecycle event hook, right? So let's save. Let's just add a debugger. Now I will inform you like how you should debug. Whenever you write any code now, first time whenever you are writing, you should debug the code. So I have added debugger everywhere. So let's save. Let's open the console. Let me just open and reload. So you can see first debugger what we have got is in home component ng OnInit. Then we are calling this function. So it will go to that function. Continue. See, now it has came here. Now in this load product, what we are doing, we are calling get product of product service. So if we continue, see, it is going over here, right? Let's continue. But we are getting one error. That is CORS error, saying like this API cannot, it is blocked by CORS policy. We have run the project on localhost 4200, but I have in the API side, I have written the logic like if only requests come from localhost 4204, then only I will get, then only I'm allowing API to get send the response. So let's just rerun the application on different port. So Control C, CLS, ng serve. Now I need to run the application on different port. So port 4204. Let's press enter. So this is how you run the application on something different port by -- port and then port number. So now my application will run on 4204 port. Then I will get the API response. Then that CORS error won't be there. So let's save and check now. 4204. See, now component, now we have got the debugger in the component, ng OnInit, continue, load all product. Then here, let's just add one more debugger inside the subscribe, that is 23 line. Now we are in the service. From here, it will make the API call. Once this line execute now, you will get entry over in network tab over here, one entry of that particular API call. See, it is 200, means we have got the successful response. Now, if you see and hover on that result, you can see we have got the object from that API. And inside that object in data, we have got the 5 elements. And that we are going to store. Currently, product list is empty. But if I one step over, so in product list, you can see the products. And these are the various properties we have in that particular product. You can see. Now we have got the response. We just need to bind this, whatever the products we have got from the API into our UI. So for that, I have already the UI created of that product div. Let me just copy paste. This is the section. Let's copy. Now in HTML, we have to paste it over here. So let's just save and check if we get the UI. Yeah, so you can see you got, we have got that card, but now we need the image also. So now if you see the response, we have got product SKU, product name, product price, and here we have the product image URL also. Now we just need to use the for loop, right? So for that, let me just remove the extra space. So this is my call LG3. This is the one product div. So we need to use the for loop on this particular div. So let's remove all this. Now, in this variable, that is product list, we have got the array of all the products. So on this, we have to use the for loop. So on call LG3, I'm using the for loop star ng for equal to double quotes inside that let product of product list. Now we just need to bind the things. So let's say this is, instead of here, we will be showing our product name. So product dot, let's see the properties, product name. Right. So we are showing here product name. Then we have to show the product price also. So again, let's copy paste. Let's keep the dollar as it is. Then we have product price. And let's show the same price again after that discounted amount something. And discount, we don't have anything, but let's keep this as it is, that is 30.5 something. So let's save and check if we get the product names correct. Yes, so you can see Vivo Plus upon the things are visible now, and the product price are also visible. Now, next thing is like we need to bind the image. So we had the image tag. Instead of the static one, we need to make it dynamic with property binding. And it will be product dot the image we will be getting from the API side, that is under product image URL. So let's provide it over here. Let's save and check how does it look. Yes, so you can see product images are there, but due to the height issue, we are getting something messed up screen. So let's just fix the height. So let's click on it. So to this image tag, we can fix the height, like height, let's say 200 pixel, or yeah, 200 pixel will be enough. So let's just add this same over here. Let's save and check how does it look now. Yeah, so it is looking perfect. But just one thing, like we need some spacing, right? You can see the first one and the last one is overlapping, is very connected. So we need some spacing. So for that, let's just add a class that is px1. So let's save and check. Okay, px is not working. So let's try pt, that is padding top one. Yeah, so you can see we have got some padding, right? So whatever the product we have got, that we have shown over here. Now we just need an add to cart button over here so that we can add to cart these products, right? So this was the span. Let's create a row. Inside that call 6. In first column 6, we can have some that reviews count. We don't have all the data, but just for the UI sake, we are designing that reviews and everything. Here we will be needing button. Add to cart. So here we have done the add to cart process. Now let's just add a class, that is class btn sm btn success. So let's see if we get one more. We need to make it to the end. So text end, in Bootstrap 5 we have the text end class. So okay, you can see we have got the text end. Now let's make it 8 and let's make it 4. Why it is taking so much space? Let's check. So column date is like this. Still why it is coming down. Let's why one thing is coming down. Let me just check. Then we can move ahead with the remaining functionality. Okay, we had the second one. So let's remove this. Okay, so like this, only star is there and then add to cart. Now, next thing is like once we click on the add to cart, we need to add this to our cart array. And that added cart will be visible over here. Now, this is a static UI, then we will make it dynamic. So for now, whenever we say the add to cart, we need to hit the API. So that API is, let's check the API, add to cart. This is the API. So you can see this is the post API and this is the object we need to send along with the quantity. So now here also we should have the quantity, like, but for now we will be sending quantity as 0 by default. So now we need to create one more function in the service that will be add to cart. So now same thing is going to be there. Just basic things I'm going to copy paste. Instead of get, it will be post, and we are not going to get the array back. So let's keep it as any only. Obj colon any. We are going to get the object from the particular component, and then we are going to send it, because to post object we need two parameters. First is the URL and second is the object. So let me just copy the object. Let's create the object in our component.ts. That is home component.ts. So that is cart obj colon any equal to our properties. So cart ID will be by default 0, customer ID we are going to need. Okay. So now, because whenever we are making any cart, so first thing is like we need to log in, right? Whenever in e-commerce application, whenever we try to add any item to the cart, so we need the login, right? So I will skip that part login, but customer ID, let's see what customer ID we have, and we will just hard code that. Same thing, you will do the login, store the login ID to the local storage, and then you will do it. Let's check get all customer and set it with any customer ID. Okay, so let's customer ID 1 we can set. So for that, I'm hard coding its customer ID 1 and quantity 0, right? So this is my cart object. Now we need to create a function, add item to cart, right? So here we need to call this function. So this dot product service now in product service we had two functions. First one get all product, and second is get all product. Let's just copy paste the subscribe thing. Now add to cart needs one parameter. So you can see in the add to cart function we have one parameter, that is the object. So this object we need to pass. So this dot cart object we have passed. Now we need to call this on this add to cart button. So click event, add to cart our function, then we need to pass the product ID. So that we will get from the for loop instance, that is and from ngBar product dot, let's check the ID, that is product ID. So now when we are calling this function, we are sending one parameter. So that we need to catch it over here, that is product ID colon number, and this we will assign to this object. I will debug and I will show you like why we are doing and how it is going to work. Product ID over here. So now let's just add a debugger and see. Save all. Now let's just open the console. So now I'm clicking on the add to cart Oppo +1 and I'm clicking on the add to cart. So here you can see product ID we have got is 26. Now in cart object, these are the various fields we have. Okay, product ID is capital. We have done it in small. So let's just make it capital. Now API call will be there, but let it reload once more. So let's try Vivo Pro Plus. Add to cart, product ID is 21, what we have got. Then, so if you can see, product ID is 0 by default, because this is what we have initialized. Then we are assigning the product ID. So now you can see this is the updated cart. Quantity we are sending 0, customer ID we are sending in, cart ID is the primary key. So we don't need to send that. Let's continue. We have got some error. Let's check what is the error. Course error we have got. Why it is having a course error? Okay, the URL we haven't changed. Get all product is the only URL. We need add to cart for that. Add to cart. So URL we need to change in the service. Add to cart. So let's save now and check it again. Now it should work. Let's try to add Samsung 155. Add to cart. Product ID is 111. Continue. In the service, we have got whatever object we have sent from the component that we have got here. And that same object we are passing to the add to cart API. Continue. So in the result, you can see product added to the cart successful, right? Now, whenever we have added the product, we need to show that product over here, right? Whatever the added product added for that particular customer ID, we need to show that. So for that, let me just remove this. Now, here we are going to need the subject, because once we do add to cart from the home component, in the app component, we have that pop-up thing here. So we need to show that over there, like what is the count and everything. So for that, we are creating subject. So public cart added subject is equal to new subject. Let's say Boolean. Okay. So we have created a subject. Subject name is cart added subject. Now, whenever we have added something into the cart, so we need to emit that. So for this, in the subscribe here, let's add the if statement, like if result is true, then only we can say, like, I'm going to show the alert product added to cart. Then we are going to emit that subject. So this dot product service dot cart subject dot next, and we will send true value over here, right? So whenever we are adding any particular product to the cart, we are emitting that subject. Now we need to subscribe to this into the layout component. So let's go to, layout now, our app component. So in the app component, let's write the constructor, and in constructor, we will be subscribing to that. So this dot, okay, first we need to create the service. So private product service colon product service. So we have created object. So this dot product service dot, our subject name is cart added subject dot subscribe. So what we have did, whenever we are adding item to the cart, we are emitting the subject, that is cart added subject we are emitting, and in the app component, we are subscribing to that. Now, here also we need to call items added to the cart by that particular customer. So while adding to the cart, we have sent the customer as 1. So always we are going to use the customer ID 1. So now we need to get all the cart by customer ID. So you can say get cart product by customer ID. So if I show you here, we need to send the customer ID. So 1. If I execute, let's see how many. Yeah, only we have Samsung that we have recently added, that only one item is there. So we need to use this API in the app component. So first let's create the service. Get cart items by cust ID. Return this .http. The method is get only. This is the URL. Now this ID should be dynamic. So it will come from here. Cust ID colon number. And this we will be passing to the URL. So after the double quotes, we need to concatenate the ID, right? So let's just add this same thing, observable and everything. It's not mandatory, but to make our code more readable, we should add this. Okay, so in service, we have created one function that is going to get the cart by customer ID. So now we need to call this over here in the app component. Load cart. this dot product service dot get cards item by customer ID, sorry, dot subscribe, then inside round bracket res colon any. Okay, so now here we need to send the customer ID, so let's send it as a 1. Now whatever the items we get, we need to store it somewhere, so cart items, or let's say product colon any square bracket equal to empty, and whatever the result we get, we need to store that over here. So this dot cart product is equal to res dot data. Now we need to call this on the OnInit. Let's implement OnInit method on init, and we need to create the OnInit function also. So here we need to write this dot load cart function we need to call, and this we will call, and once the cart has been added, again we need to call this function. So in the subscribe also we need to call this. Okay, for now let's remove this and I will show you the practical implementation, then you will get it. So let's just add a debugger over here. Let's save all and check if we get the API call. So here on the page load, you can see one API call is there with the ID 1, you can see, and in the preview data, we have got the added card. So let's just try to add one more. Laptop Pro, add to cart. Let's reload. So here we should see 2 items. Yeah, see 2 items we have seen. Now same this records, we need to add it over here. So this is the static one. So let's make it dynamic. So in this element, we have got the elements, cart items. So that we have to use it on this particular div. Let me just remove the unnecessary things. So now on this row, I need to use for loop star ng for is equal to let cart of cart products. Now, so we have 4 columns. So in the first column, we have to show the image. So let's copy that image tag. Let's copy it. Let's paste it over here, and instead of product, now it will be card, and the height will be, let's make it 30px only, because we are going to need that in the pop-up. So no need of very big picture. Then in second thing, we will show the product name. So that is cart, because in the cart API, we are going to get everything. So you can see product image URL also we are getting, so that we have binded over here. Then name also we are getting, product name. So let's bind that over here. Then we have to show quantities. Okay, quantity is there, but quantity is coming 0. Why? It is coming 0. Okay, so in API side, I must have done something wrong. So let's just assume that quantity is coming 1. So let me just copy, paste, +1. So for just now, I'm doing it +1 because from API side, I'm getting 0 only. So I might have forgot that. Then we have to show the rates also. So cart dot price, that is product price, right? So I have shown the cart item. So let's save and check now. How does it look? So see, image is visible. But we don't have the second images. Why? Only one image. Okay, we have it, but it is not properly visible. So let's make it a circle one. Border radius, let's make it 50%, and let's see how does it look. And after row, we have to add some spacing. So padding top 1, I'm just adding to give the spacing. Yeah, so this is how it is looking now. So we are showing the product image, product name, quantity, and the amount. Now we just need to show the total quantity, total what we can say amount also, like 5,000 and 50,000 should in the bottom subtotal we should show the total amount. So in the subscribe call, here we have got all the products, right? Okay, one more thing. Now if you see, we have got two items. Okay, that two is also static, so we need to make it dynamic. So this dot product in the HTML. So this was that thing. So we just need to make it dynamics, the array of length. Let's save and check. Okay, now if I say I'm going to, currently we have two records only. Now if I say upon plus added, but it is not refreshing and only two. But if I refresh, then you can see three items added now. But once I click on this should get updated, right? So here comes the subject. So now when we add to cart, we have emitted the subject. And in the constructor of the app component, we have subscribed to that. So if we call this over here, let's just add a debugger, then you will understand the subject also. Let's just save. Now currently we just have three items. So let's just open the console. Now let's try to add Vivo Plus. Continue. Yeah, so we have got the response. Result is true. So it will go inside of the condition. We will show the alert. Then you can see we are emitting that particular subject using next property. And we are sending the value to true also. So now if I continue, yes, so you can see it has executed the subscribe call in the app component. Then we are calling the function. So you can see currently it is 3, but once I continue, see cart is getting increased. So this is the actual e-commerce thing. Whenever you add to cart, that cart get incremented. So like this. Currently we have Vivo, Oppo, Lab, and Samsung, right? So what is remaining? Vivo Pro is remaining. So let's just add to cart. See. Okay. So now we just need to show the total over here. So for that, in the app component, here we have got the items, right? So now we just need to create one variable that is sub total colon number is equal to by default 0. I'm initiating. Now this variable we can use the for loop or for each. Let's use for each. So we can use reduce also over here, but no, let's not make it complex. Since we are considering this, in this video we are considering just for the freshers, so we will just do the for loop. So we need to use this dot subtotal equal to this dot subtotal plus element dot price. What is that? Product price. Let's just copy paste it from here. Product price. Right, and this subtotal we will be showing over here. Let's add it in a strong text so it will be strongly visible. Let's save and check now. So we should be able to see the totals also. Yeah, you can see the total now, right? So what we have done till now, we have shown the product we have got from the API, and add to cart functionality is also done. Now we need to show, once we click on the checkout, we need to land this particular thing on the sale page. And there again, we have to show these cards, and then we will hit another API to make the sale. Obviously, we are not going to integrate the payment gateway, but because we are just trying to cover the basic flow, right? So once we click on the checkout, it should land on to the another page, that is sale page. So on the checkout, let's navigate. So click, redirect, to sale. Let's create this function. Now, in this function, we have to redirect it to the sale page. So for that, we need to create the service of router. So private router : router. So now here we need to write this dot router dot navigate by URL, and we need to pass the URL. So let's see the URL of our sale page, that is sale. So let's save and check. It should navigate to the sale page. We haven't done anything in the sale page, but it will at least redirect. Okay, yeah, it is navigating, but it is not visible over here. Let's check why. We don't see anything error. App routing model.ts sale component is there. And in sale component, let's see what things are there. No, it's empty. So let's check. Okay, so let's try now. Yeah, on click of checkout, we are landing to the sale page. Now in this component, we have to show the elements, that is cart item. And once we click on the sale, then we have to hit the another API, that is make sale or something is there. Let me check, add new sale. So now in sale component, we have to call our cart API again. So for that, we need to create the service, that is private product service : product service. Let's add another call. Let's copy paste it from app component, because we have already written that over there, that is load cards. Let's copy, let's paste it in the sale component. Let's just change the name. We need the variable, so that is any square bracket is equal to square bracket, and subtotal is also we are going to need. Right, so these things are done. Now in sale component, we have to show the grid. So let's try to find out any UI. If we get e-commerce sale page, let's add HTML, CSS. So let's try to design the same thing. Now I'm going to copy the content from app only. So this is kind of a template we need. Let me just copy this in sale component. To call 8. So I just paste that. So now let's save and check. Okay, we haven't called that function on the page load. So again, we need to implement OnInit and ng OnInit function we need to implement, and here we will be calling load card function. So this dot load card function, let's save and check. Yeah, okay. So now let's just get rid of that style we added. Let's make it 200 pixel, border radius we don't need. So let's save and check. Yeah, okay. So this is how we are showing the cart, right? So there is remove cart also we don't need. Let's make it 12. Cart items. Okay, so here you can see we are showing the cart item. Now, next thing is we have one more API. Suppose let's say if we have to what we can say, remove particular items. So let's see if we have the API. Yeah, so we have one API that is delete product from cart ID, cart by ID. So we should have the functionality. Let's say we can add a delete button over here and we can remove that. So for that, let's just add a delete button. So 4, let's make it 3, 3 then there's 6, 10, 8, 10, and let's add one more. Let's create a button. Class btn sm danger and remove. Now on click of it, we need to call a function. So click remove item. And we need to send the cart ID. Cart dot, let's check the response. Cart ID will be there. Yeah, cart ID. We need to send it from the HTML. Let's create this function. So from HTML, we are sending some parameters that we need to catch it over here, ID, number. So in now service, let's create one function to remove the particular cart item. So this is get API only. So let me just copy this, paste it. Let's change the function name, remove cart item by ID. Let's check the method name we need to change. So this is the method name. It will go over here. Cart ID. And it will go over here. So now we need to call this function from the sale component. So this dot product service dot remove cart item by ID, and whatever the ID we get, we need to pass it over here dot subscribe thing. Then if condition, just to check like if a result is successfully or not, because in every API I'm sending object and there we have the result property. If that particular operation is success, then we do that. And again, we need to call the load cart button because we need to get the updated cart item. So let's save and check now. Yeah. Okay, so currently we have 5 items. So let's try to remove this Vivo Pro. If we click on remove, yeah, so you can see we have got first API call, that is delete product from cart ID, and then in the success we are calling get product. So let's remove this also. Now, if you see in current cart, we have just 3 items, but here you can see 5. So we need to refresh this also. So again, same thing. When we added cart, now we have emitted this. So same thing, we just need to add it over here also once we remove the cart. So that will also get updated. So let's check now. So everywhere same information should be visible. So now if you can see in the cart page, we have 3, here also 3. But if I let's say click on remove. So here also we have 2 items, here also we have 2 items. Same this remove button, we can add it over here also. Right? Now, so after this cart item, we need to show the submit button or save make sale button. So after this, at the end, again, let's open a row, call, what was the top? 8. Let's give it as a 8. This is first, this is second row, third row, fourth row. After this, let's add one more row. Let's make it as call 12, and inside that we will have button make sale. Last btn lg btn success. Okay, now on this button click, we need to integrate that sale API. So yeah, so class name was not correct. So now we should see the button. Yeah, let's make it center align. So txt.center. Right. So let's check the API call input for the sale API. So add new sale. So while for the sale API, we need to design some particular form. Like we need to ask where it should be delivered and everything, right? So for that, this is an object. So let me just copy paste. In the sale component.ts, we need to create an object that is sale object :any equal to curly bracket. Now we have the object ready. Let me just format it back. So this is the object we have for the sale, right? So now on click of sale button, we need to call this API. So here customer ID, again, we are going to do the static. In the next video, I will make it with the login because this says only just to cover the basic thing. Sale date, the current date. So new date. So it will get the current date. Then total invoice amount. So that we are going to update in the save function. So make sale function. So this dot sale object dot total invoice amount. Total invoice amount will be nothing but the subtotal. So this will go over here. So we are changing some properties now. Then discount, we have 0 only, payment narration and these things. I'm just adding it over here something. Paytm. We are not going to design the form, just basic things I'm going to need. Lot number 112 something. Near ATM. Pune. ATM. Okay, so I have created the object. Customer ID is also there. Total invoice amount I'm updating in that function. Now we need to call this make sale function on this button click. So click. And once we click, we need to again call the updated card. After we make the sale, card should be empty, right? So let's save and check that. Okay, we haven't done the API call. So let's do the API call also. Now in product service, we need to create one more function that will be post add to cart instead of that is add new sale. So let's make it add new sale. Make sale. This we have to call it over here in the sale component. We don't need the parameter. Load product is there and wait, we don't. Okay, object we need to send. So sale object we need to send it over here. Let's save and check. So currently we have 2 items in the cart, right? So now let me clear it. And if I say make sale component, let me just add a debugger. So if I click on make sale, now if you can see total invoice by default 0 is there, but in subtotal we have got, right? So that we are assigning it. Continue. So many debuggers we had added. So if you can see in the network, add new sale is success. And you can see after that we have tried to get the card. Now we have got the 0 because we have made the sale. Okay, here also we need to make it 0. Why it is not getting empty? Cart item has been removed because sale was successful. Once we do the particular sale, cart item get cleared, right? So same thing. Let's just see why it is not emptied in the app component. Card product.for each. Okay, so every time we can just initialize it with 0. And same thing we can do in the sale component also. Because if we don't have any array, it is not going inside and this is not getting changed. So that was the issue. So let's try it one more time. Now let's go to the home page. Let's add Vivo Plus, add added. You can see one item added over here. Let's add Samsung. You can see 2 items added. Let's go to the checkout page now. So in checkout page also, you can see 2 items. Let's click on make sale. Yeah, so after make sale is successful, we have got the 0 item. Everywhere it is 0. So let's just show the pop-up also. Alert. sale success. So let's try to do the same thing one more time. So this is just a basic version of an e-commerce application. We haven't got into detail like login, customer information, delivery address, everything we have done the static thing. Let's just try Uppo plus product added. You can see one added here. Let's click on checkout. Let's click on make sale. Yeah, sale success. Then it is getting 0. Got it? So this is the complete cycle and very basic one. We haven't done the filter and everything. In the next video, I am going to achieve all the advanced things, like we can filter it out by this. We can wish list also, just like in Amazon or Flipkart, we can wish list some. Here also we will add the delete button. On click of removal, we will remove all the items, right? On click of this particular click, we will open that product in the new page. Again, from there also we can add quantity. Currently quantity is 0. So we can have a functionality to increase the quantity, like how many quantities I'm going to need. So the whole full-fledged e-commerce application we will try in the next video. So hope you have liked this video. APIs are there. Just give it a try. Try to create the basic application, host it in the GitHub. That will be useful for your next interview, so that you can showcase. Okay. And this HTML also I'm going to provide you in the GitHub, so you can use the basic pre-built HTML code. Please do like and subscribe my videos, and stay tuned for the next video of this e-commerce application, but with a better version. Thank you.